Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Razain, Business Development Director and Partner of Access Morocco. Today, we're having a very special guest on the second episode of our Access Talk show. Rohan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Adam, thank you for having me.
Of course. So just a little bit of context. Rohan is the General Manager of the Oberoi Marrakech. And I think we always start our podcast with the introductions. So I would love to know more. Who's Rohan? And, it's kind of great to also mention that you've been living for a few years now in Morocco. So it'll be also great to share your connection with this country and destination.
My origins are obviously in Mumbai, India, where I spent pretty much my childhood. But then hotels were calling. I moved for a fantastic hospitality education in Switzerland, which then took me around the world. So I started in Lucerne at IMI, and then from there, post-graduation, trained in a number of places, including in Switzerland, Dominican Republic, finally in the United States, before going back to India. It was a very interesting opportunity to work with the Oberoi, and it was really a privilege to be able to start with them. And over time, with Mumbai, Dubai, I spent many fantastic years building my career in luxury hotels. For a short time, I was with St. Regis and also with the Four Seasons in Chiang Mai. But then came a call saying there is a wonderful opportunity at the Oberoi Marrakech pre-opening as charge of operations. And I thought it was, wow, what a fantastic opportunity. And Morocco was always in my mind. It was always a destination that I was extremely curious about.
Okay.
Because you heard a lot. The culture, the beauty of the place and the people and all the stories and the history behind it. And I was like, be a really interesting opportunity, and it's been 6.5 years now that I've been there. I took over as general manager towards the end of 2021 through very challenging times, and to be honest with you, there are a lot of similarities between
that's what I
Morocco and India.
I have a friend, he owns a DMC in India, Rajiv Kohli.
Oh yes, indeed.
Creative Travel. He's kind of a mentor for me, and we've done a few sales calls together. And when he's doing his presentation, I feel like we had the same speech. Morocco and India are kind of destinations of senses.
Right.
You go to those specific destinations to smell things you've never smelled before, to taste also things you've never tasted before. And I think it's all about also the storytelling, the history as well. And it's kind of two cultures that's been there for a very long time. And
Indeed.
I think we do share a lot of similarities, also the colors in a way. I know that there is a blue city in
there
India
is a blue
as well.
city, indeed.
We do have a blue city as well in Morocco.
Chefchaouen,
exactly.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people in India would ask me, because we're a very small Indian population living in Morocco.
I can imagine.
As I understand from the embassy, it's only about 250 to 300 people
interesting.
full-time living in Morocco.
So it's little.
Which is really small considering the size of the population of India.
Okay.
What's very interesting, though, is that even though we're extremely small population, people in India will call and say, hey, what do you think of Marrakech? What is Marrakech like? And the easiest way of describing it to them is I say it's kind of similar to the Jaipur of North Africa. It has the palaces, the desert.
Yes.
The arts, the
The
culture,
craftsmanship as well.
exactly, and that's very much how I explain Marrakech to somebody who's in India who hasn't traveled yet to Morocco. Bollywood plays a very big part here.
Yes. I grew up watching Bollywood TV shows and movies.
Right.
And I think this was kind of the first introduction of like an average Moroccan to the Indian culture.
Indeed, and I think Shah Rukh Khan still remains a very big icon.
That's true.
in the country, and that's why I say I feel really at home. And of course, I'm married to a wonderful Moroccan lady now, so this is definitely home. And I think with what's coming in the next 5 to 6 years,
Totally.
the country is heading for incredible growth.
Yes. Well, I joined in 2020, 5 years ago, came back to Morocco. And we kind of have a similar background because I also went to a Swiss hospitality school,
Right.
then worked in the US and I worked in France and came back in the middle of the pandemic. And I think it was the right time to join because we had time. I always say there was no money, but there was time. Now there is money, but there is no time. Can't have both. It's either this
Well said.
or that.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I feel like for the past 5 years, Morocco has completely changed. Not only about the infrastructure, but also the vision, the way of doing things. I don't know if you've heard, but the stadium in Rabat was completed in a record time.
Right.
Yeah, like I think within 18 months. So efficiency is also becoming a thing.
Indeed.
And that was something that we were kind of lacking, I would say. But it's kind of getting better and better. And there's also a vision by His Majesty the King. So, I mean, I'm looking very forward to seeing the destination in the next 5 years. We have the African Cup of Nations by the end of this year.
Absolutely.
And we also have the World Cup happening in 2030 and a lot of great projects. And I'm looking very, very forward to the bullet train
Absolutely.
from Casablanca to Marrakesh.
That's going to be a game changer.
It'll make my life much more easier. as well.
Well, literally, I mean, coming out of Casablanca airport, which is still a hub for Morocco, and then connecting into Marrakesh, where you get to Marrakesh in less than an hour. I mean, it makes it so much easier
Yes.
in terms of access, and I think it's great. And His Majesty's vision is absolutely incredible. And what's really nice is to be part of this growth.
Yes.
And help, in every small way, fuel what Morocco is going to be in the future. And I have no doubt that this country has unlimited potential
Yes.
in the way it's going. So next 5 years, as you said, the infrastructure is going to rapidly change. Things are going to get far stronger. But at the same time, if you look back and look at just Marrakesh on its own, and you look at the amazing luxury hotels that are already there,
Yeah, it's incredible.
and they are of some of the highest standard in the world. Imagine that, even though we're still in the growth phase as a country, we still have some of the premier luxury hotels in one destination, and now expanding towards Casablanca, Rabat, and Tetuan, and Agadir,
Tagazout as
and
well now
of
is
course,
kind of
it's just
evolving.
transforming. So it's incredible to see this. And in my 6.5 years, as you've seen as well through the start of your career in 2020, there's just been so much change.
Totally.
Not without challenges, though, because 2023, the earthquake did set us back a bit, and of course, certain geopolitical conflicts do, for some odd reason, do have an impact on
But
tourism.
I feel like recently I'm seeing this behavior from Americans. There was a time where if something would happen in the Middle East, Morocco would get affected, knowing that we're very far.
Indeed.
And Morocco is a super safe country, economically, politically, in every single way, I would say. But recently, travelers are starting to understand that Morocco is not in the Middle East. We're in North Africa. Yes, we're indeed sharing a lot of things with the Middle East, but we're far. And I feel like we're picking up a lot of the business that was supposed to happen in the Middle East. And now people are moving towards Morocco because it's safer. And also the hotel stock in Marrakesh is just incredible. You've just mentioned that the scene over there now is outstanding, but also the other elements, the experiences, the content, the history, the accessibility. And I think it ticks all the boxes now.
Absolutely, and if you just consider the location,
Yes.
it's so well located. Morocco as a destination, very central, very easily accessible within 3 hours of every major
Yes.
European city. But now with also the number of flights evolving between the US and Morocco, it's so much easier to access.
Of course.
As we say, access Morocco.
Access Morocco, yes. It is that straightforward as you
It's
can't be
as
more
straight-
direct.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things. But not to forget that Morocco has been making a lot of strides where the visibility of the country is increased. And of course, things like the football team
Yeah,
reaching
he helped.
incredible performances by them has put Morocco into global visibility.
Of course.
But beyond that, I think a lot of people that travel to Morocco leave with very fond memories. And there's nothing better than positive word of mouth.
That's true.
And that is spreading. So you could be in Europe and just a short 3 hour flight away, and suddenly you enter a magical place where full of rich culture, cuisine, amazing hospitality, people that are very vibrant, very welcoming. So there's so much that one can experience, and that's why I'm really sure that now, with the visibility that the country is gaining, that eventually we will continue to grow on the U.S. market as in terms
Of
of tourism.
course. I mean, in terms of accessibility now, I'm kind of very happy and proud to see that we have two flights starting from October that will connect Morocco and the US. I mean Marrakech and the US, both with United and Delta from Atlanta and Newark. And this comes in addition to the flights we have from Casablanca to the US to DC, New York, and Miami. So yeah, I think it's kind of giving credibility to the destination in the US market. The fact that we have like their local airlines connecting our destinations. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be positive.
Absolutely, and I think it can be looked in two ways. I mean, generally, guests from the U.S. would do an itinerary of Morocco. The advantage of having even direct flights into Marrakech is that they may decide to just spend 4 or 5 nights only
Totally.
in Marrakech.
Yes.
Just come in for one destination and really indulge in the Marrakech and the surroundings. So that changes the market a little bit. But at the same time, it's starting to become so easy that you can do combinable holidays where a lot of guests are doing, for example, Europe,
Yeah.
Spain, Portugal, short flight away,
an
you got
hour.
Morocco,
Yeah,
literally.
it's-
And so the itineraries are also changing a little bit. And that's a good thing because we have two elements. Go direct,
Mm.
but at the same time, combine it with a European holiday.
Totally. And I think we're seeing this trend more and more in the incentive world as well. We've had the chance to work together on a Mexican program
Indeed.
that was booked last minute, like a month before. But we managed to do it properly. I mean, I'm a huge fan of your operations guy, but also the kind of
Thank you very much.
your way of serving clients. Everything is possible. You can't say a no, and I kind of see that clients are feeling like kings when they get into your property. But anyways, to go back to the Mexican program, we're seeing a lot this trend where people are combining both Europe and Marrakesh because it kind of works perfectly. We're only an hour away from all the European hubs, so it's kind of feasible and it's easy and it works perfectly logistically, I would say.
It's just a great combination,
It is.
and Latin America will also continue to develop. I'm certain Canada will also progress with more flight connectivity. So the future looks bright, especially from the Americas. So
Yes, definitely. Rohan, I want to know more about the property as well. You perfectly know that Axis loves the Oberoi.
thank you for all your support.
Yes,
and
we really appreciate working with you guys. And beside, I would say the people working there, the infrastructure is outstanding. I mean, the patio you guys have, the copy of the Madrasa Venus, which was inspired from the Madrasa Venus, let's not use the word copy, is kind of outstanding. And I mean, whenever I see a client getting in and just seeing the patio, there's kind of a pause.
Indeed.
And just watching this beautiful space that works perfectly for events. And we've done fantastic events over there. We've also used this as a conference room once, where we've done like a conference over there. So yeah, I just want to know more about the property. I'm sure this is your baby because you've seen it before the opening, and today seeing it working perfectly. I think you have a very special vision on it. So I just want you to share that with us.
Well, I think firstly, the Oberoi Group is an incredible luxury hotel company. We're a company that are 91 years old, and not many people know this.
Oh wow, okay.
First
I
hotel
didn't
in
know this.
1934.
Okay.
And it's one of the only family-run companies left, and family of incredible hoteliers. And our late chairman emeritus, Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi, was visionary. And Morocco was definitely one of the destinations where he really wanted to bring in Oberoi hotels, keeping in mind that Morocco and India share similar values as well. Now, we might be an Indian hotel company, but within Morocco, we take complete inspiration from
Yes.
the local beauty and architecture.
The few
and
Indian touches, I would say.
very subtle,
Yeah, very subtle. Yeah.
but India and Morocco both have very strong influences of Islamic architecture.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you will see similarities, but when the design inspiration was done, the inspiration was really from local architecture. And when this hotel was being built, one of the things that you would notice about the Oberoi as compared to a lot of other hotels in Morocco, and they're just different styles, I would say, but a lot of hotels tend to be very dark,
That's true.
right? But that's the style because, the
Exactly.
architecture looks inwards, generally very heavy colors, which make the place a little more somber. But the Oberoi was built on the philosophy of height, light, and space.
Okay.
So when you walk in, you obviously feel the extremely high ceilings, a lot of natural light coming in, whether it's the rooms, the spa, the lobby, really a lot of natural light. And a lot of inspiration was taken from of course, incredible heritage sites such as Madrasa bin Yusuf. And the courtyard that was built obviously is a much larger version of the original madrasa, but the inspiration comes from there. And that space is the heart of the hotel, and it's
Yes.
absolutely magical. And the arrival experience at the Oberoi is multi-layered. You come in and first,
You
there's a
have-
wall, so you don't see what's
Exactly.
behind.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's an
cross the-
experience in a way.
Indeed, you cross the wall and you see this huge water feature
Yes.
with the fire in the middle in the evenings.
That could work perfectly as an event space as well.
We do use it as an
Yeah.
event space. Actually, it's actually a very good event space for cocktails, pre-dinner cocktails, or also for souk-style events, for
Yes.
example. Then as you walk in, of course, you enter the lobby, which is, again, very intricate, beautifully done, high ceilings, beautiful cedar wood dome. Then you enter the courtyard, and then you've got this really incredible space, which is an absolute architectural masterpiece.
Yeah, and the view, honestly, from the first time I came there, and I saw the canal, and it's the presidential unit, no? Like
At
unit
the end,
is
at the end are two presidential units. But yes, the canal is about 240 meters long. And it is, again, inspired by what Andalusian gardens are all about. So with 3,500 olive trees on property and spread over 11 hectares or 26 acres approximately, it just gives a sense of space,
Yes.
which is incredible. So this hotel took really long to build. It took us almost 10 years. And in the
when
making,
you see the detail in every single space, you understand that it takes time.
it does.
I mean, the zalige, the plaster, the wood, it's pretty impressive.
No, absolutely, and all credit to, of course, to Chairman Emeritus Mr. Oberoi and the current Chairman Mr. Arjun Oberoi, but also to our local partners, the family Alami, who have been incredible and very passionate about this project, and together what they've done is created something really, really special. And this hotel took about 10 years, as I mentioned, but it also had 200 artists brought in from Fez to do the
Wow.
carving work. Obviously, taking Fez, the center of Moroccan arts and crafts and history, and bringing that into the hotel and having that showcased in every detail that you see within the property. So that's a really special part as well. And the most you can have a great hotel, as Mr. Oberoi said, but without good service,
Totally.
nothing can happen. And that's where I have so much respect for the Oberoi Group as a company and as a culture. We have something called the Oberoi Dharma, and it's not just a vision or a mission. It's really the core of who we are, and in as a company, for us, guest experience matters the most.
Yes, and I can see that. Honestly, I can see it from the first person I'm meeting on the gate, on the first gate. You see, like you take your hand and you put it on your heart,
Yeah.
while bending a bit in a very subtle way. And I always say, I've had the same discussion with Holger last week, that those details do really matter. When I'm coming on a fam trip, or I'm doing a site inspection, or I think even if you have any simple client, they're welcomed by the general manager. I've seen you many times coming and welcoming the guests yourself and talking to them with the director of sales. So we see kind of a line of people that are happy to see us.
Indeed.
You see, and I think this comes from the values of the brand, and I think this is what hospitality should be, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think, at the end of the day, there's service and there's hospitality.
Yes.
Right? And of course, we really strongly believe that guest experience matters the most. In order to create a guest experience, there are many touch points through a stay. And it starts from way before, from pre-arrival stage, reservation stage, pre-arrival stage, and then obviously coming in to the arrival. And it's so important, the warm welcome, and obviously through the stay, ensuring that we anticipate the guest needs, create that personalized experience. And here's what's interesting, and what you mentioned is how well your group had been looked after, is because we don't treat groups like a group.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Because generally, when you have a group, it's like, okay,
it's the group and the other guests.
Exactly. Yeah. But the idea is, how can we create a personalized experience for every single person within the group, so that it doesn't feel as though it's they're treated differently, So that's one of the touches, and we continue to build on it. I have to say, all credit goes to my team, because they're extremely passionate, and passion is something you can't teach.
You can't fake as well. It's either you have it or you don't.
Indeed. And this is where every team member at the Oberoi really cares about the guest experience. And they will create touch points just to touch the guest's heart. And that's why we say it's called heartfelt service at the Oberoi. So really incredible teamwork.
Yeah.
We are all very much on the floor, looking after our guests, and that's how hotels used to be in the past, and that's what we continue to maintain that.
That's excellent. I had this memory of my first stay over there, where I got to my room and I found like a frame with my picture on it, and it's something we kind of got inspired to. I would say on all of our fam trips now, we use this. And I think it's kind of making people feel home as well. So it's also kind of impressive how your team has impressive skills on stalking people and finding pictures of guests. But, it kind of puts a very nice impression on the guests when they're entering the room and kind of feel home, I would say.
Indeed. I think the idea really is, or more than stalking, is to get to know your guests.
Exactly.
Who are your guests?
Yes.
And when they come in and they see a little picture frame with them and their family, it kind of feels like you've just walked into your own home.
Totally.
Right. It's a little touch, right? But that little touch can go a very long way. So if we have the information, or we know who the person is, we're obviously cautious about the fact that we need to know who the person is in order for us to be able to add a touch like that. But it is a touch that resonates really strongly with the guests.
And I think it's all about having the maximum of information about the guest before coming. If you want to be really offering them a personalized experience.
Indeed.
We always do that. We always ask our guests, our clients, I would say, our agents, guys, just give us information about your clients and we can create experiences regarding that. If you say, for example, my client loves horses, for example, we'll take them to have a very nice dinner at the stables of Salman.
Absolutely.
You see, and I think this is kind of how you match like the hobbies and the preferences of every single guest. And this is how you also kind of exceed the expectations of every single person that do comes to your destination.
Indeed. And, as you said, we request the same information from our partners as well. The more you share, the more an opportunity it gives us to be able to do something special for the guests. And this is why very often when I even meet with travel agent partners, I always tell them, in case you have a booking, please write to me. Let me know a little bit about the guests, and we'll ensure that we take absolute special care. And the guests are blown away when they arrive, because when they see those little touches, it's incredible. And as you said, based on the preferences, you can curate an itinerary that works for them and kind of suits their needs. So personalization remains a key in luxury hotels, and guest experience remains paramount.
Totally. Rohan, thank you so much for such an interesting discussion. I think before wrapping up our podcast, it'll be great to kind of get your opinion, but also your advice for younger generations. If they would like to follow the path of Rohan, what are the top 3 advices you would give them? Especially on an industry that is kind of, it's not one of the easiest industries. It requires a lot of passion, a lot of time, a lot of investment in terms of time, I would say. So yeah, I just want to get your kind of vision on that.
Well, it's interesting because obviously the industry is changing, and how youngsters perceive working in hotels is also changing. One, it is a lot of hard work. So I think the first advice is be prepared. Hard work, there's nothing wrong with hard work.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it does pay off.
Exactly.
But you have to be prepared to be able to put in that effort. So that's the key. Second is passion. And of course, this applies to every industry or every art that you do. Passion, nothing can replace passion. So if you're not passionate about it, you're not passionate about hotels, you're not passionate about guest experiences, and then it's probably not the right industry for you.
Especially in our industry, because, well, you were just mentioning, you're now in Casablanca, and in a few hours, you also have a wedding happening at the Oberoi, at the property. It's a Saturday today, and I'm sure you work 7 days a week. You don't count your hours, and this comes with passion. If you're not passionate about what you do, it can't work.
Absolutely.
Especially on our industry. There are other industries where you can work without passion, but it's not the case in our industry.
Absolutely. And I think, the key here is when you have that. And that's why one of our philosophies at the hotel is when we recruit for will, not for skill.
Yes, totally.
Because when the person has the right will, the right passion, you can teach skill.
Exactly.
Can't teach passion and can't teach will.
Exactly.
So I think obviously those two things are extremely important. And third of all is obviously a hotel is a very large, I would say, domain of different skills. And I think it's very important for somebody who's entering the industry is to really find a mastery at least in one skill. Could be anything. It could be someone who's really strong in wines, for example, and is a sommelier or pursuing to be a sommelier. That is a very nice core skill to have. Could be becoming a mixologist.
That's true.
Right? Or could be extremely good at looking at accounting and numbers, or it could be a specific skill, even something like photography for that matter. Just having that particular skill that you can bring to the table within your work is such an important thing.
What is your skill, Rohan?
So funny enough, when I started, wines was my specialty. It's something that I focused on a lot in my time with the Oberoi, and that became my forte. And that helped accelerate my career as well within food and beverage. And because when knowledge is strong and you can share that, pass that knowledge down, automatically, you're highly appreciated both by guests but also by team members. And I think that's one of the things that stood out. So those are the three things I would say: is hard work, passion, and one core skill to master. Are the three words of wisdom. Yeah.
Very strong words. Thank you so much, Rohan. It was really a pleasure talking about yourself, but also the Oberoi, and also your vision about our destination. And we thank you for being such a good ambassador of Morocco. Honestly, it's such quite impressive to see the passion that you do have for our destination. We've met on different trade shows, and you just mentioned to me you're selling and kind of talking more about Morocco than your own country.
Indeed, and there's so much potential here.
Yes.
And it's so nice to be part of the journey of growth of Morocco, and the best is yet to come.
Yes, this is kind of how I wanted to end. The best is yet to come. Rohan, thank you so much for attending our
Thank you for having
show.
me, Adam.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.